Hey guys. All right, so just give us 2 moments. We are sorting it out because I can see some of you are having some technical difficulties, but not to worry. For those who can see and hear me clearly, send a thumbs up in the chat box. For those who can all see, hear and see what I am writing on the screen. Yes. Hi Prahlad. Yes, okay. Thank you, Ankita. Thank you for saying that you're able to see me. What about the others? I would like some quick responses. Yes, thank you, Anukriti. Hi, Gungun. Hi. Hi, Aradhya. Hi, Taseen. Right? So, in case if any of you, for those who are able to see and hear me, right, I would request for the others who are having some issues with the, if any technical difficulties are there, please refresh your screen once. I think it would be sorted. Yes, I can see that all of you are sending me the thumbs up. Okay then, okay. Yes, thank you Gargi. Hi Namrita. Hi Dibyanshi. Okay. Hi Rishika. Hello. Hi guys, hi. Okay, thank you so much for helping me out with this because I do not want to have any technical difficulties during the wonderful session that I have planned for you guys. So, what do you think that we're going to be learning today? Well, of course, from the title of today's session, we know that we are going to be learning about agriculture and types of crops. So, I would like to start off the session by asking a very simple question. I'm sure that at some point, all of you would have visited a restaurant with your family, right? And as soon as you go and visit the restaurant, you would see that this one waiter would come up to your table and welcome you guys and give you a menu card and then ask you what you would like to order for the day, right? So can all of you tell me what is your favorite dish? Because my favorite dish is paneer butter masala. I just love it. And any given option, I would always ask my mom to make it at home. So can you tell me what is your favorite dish? Hi Arpita, hi Sonali, hi guys, hi Samriddhi. So can you all tell me what is your favorite dish that you would like eating? Idli, pizza, biryani, matar paneer. Oh, I like matar paneer also. Yes, I can see a lot of paneer curry, paneer biryani coming up. Okay. Okay, someone likes pani puri. Yum, I like pani puri too. I'm a big foodie as a matter of fact, by the way. Yes, puri with potato. That's also yum, right? Lemon rice. Ooh, chola bhatura. Ooh, nice. Dosa. Yes, it's an all-time favorite. Try to have dosa and yummy sambar. So, fried rice, ooh, I can see a lot of things coming in. Ooh, fulka with paneer curry, good. Kadai chicken, wonderful. Lot of interesting answers coming in the chat. Now imagine if you and I could make a menu of our own. We would add all of this, right? So we would add our chola bhatura, pani puri, we have paneer curry, fulka, everything. And yes, I can see more coming. Onion rava dosa, burger, paneer. Nice. Ooh, of course, we need some dessert as well. So we need cake. And I can see Juhi likes all food. Good, Juhi. Because even I'm also like that. I like most things. I love eating and I'm a big foodie. So, yes. So, of course, we would make our own menu and we would, of course, get all our favorite dishes in it, right? So, let's say that these two folks here have ordered and the waiter has given them the food and he's like, please, enjoy your order. And if you see, this girl has ordered some yummy pancakes here, while this guy here has ordered chocolate milkshake. Now, I know most of us would like chocolate milkshake, right? I mean, anything with chocolate is a win-win for us, yes? Yes, red velvet cake as well, Juhi. Yes, of course. Now, imagine, we have all these different food items that you listed out, right? You listed out so many different kinds of food items here. Now, have you all ever wondered, where does all this food come from? I mean, we're having breakfast, we're having lunch, dinner, and of course, it's important to have healthy dishes also, okay? I mean, I saw a lot of, pizza, burgers and all, but it is also important to eat healthy, right? So, have you ever wondered where all the food that we eat comes from? Yes, someone's asking me which is my favorite food. Like I said, it's paneer butter masala. I love it. Yes, Dibyanshi, from the farm, from plants and animals. Yes, good Kanish, good Amisha, very good. They are from agriculture, fruits, vegetables, plants. Wonderful. You guys are just wonderful. Because yes, our primary source of food comes of course from the plants, from the animals, and some of these food items are also natural. Now what do I mean by natural? It comes from nature, right? And can you take a guess of which kind of food item might be natural, right? Or that we directly obtain from nature and which is not plants and animals, but of course, right? Have you ever had if you want to take a guess? Which do you think would come under this category? Yes, wonderful Naina, wonderful. Salt and water. Yes, very good. It is salt and water as well. So now we've understood that we get food from all of these sources. But now you think about our country, okay? Let's not go to any other country. We look at our wonderful country. There are so many people in our country. Can you guess approximately how many people might be there in our country? Take a wild guess, okay? Any number. You can be as, how much ever you want to guess the number, you can just guess it. Yes, Harshali, you are saying that you have a doubt, so you can go ahead and, sort of try writing it down, or you can mention your doubt in the chat box as well. Naina, 1 billion. Okay. Manya, yes, I'm able to see your message. Ajay, 1 million. Taseen, 1.5 billion. Sonali, you've put a lot of thousands, so I'm assuming it's going to be a very big number. 137 million. Yes, 10 billion, 10 crore, 163 crore. Wonderful, wonderful. I see a lot of numbers coming in here, so very good, guys. So I will tell you those around 130 crores have, come very close to the number. Because if you see totally, or I would say approximately, we have about 139 crore people in our country. Can you imagine what a big number that is? 139 people, right? That's a huge number. And imagine, 139 people require food to eat so that they can survive. So, where can we feed, or I would say, how can we feed such a big population? Well, can you take a wild guess, because I am sure that you guys know the answer to this. How do you think that we are able to feed such a big population? Ravi, at the moment, we will not be looking at, we will be doing Menti, but that will be much later ahead, right? But right now, we will be focusing on understanding the concepts. Yes, wonderful Gungun by agriculture. Yes, very good Nana, very good Shashireka, very good Pranika. Wonderful. All of you are just wonderful. It is by agriculture. Now, what do we mean by the term agriculture? And this right here is very, very important to understand, and it forms the basis or the foundation of your understanding before we go ahead and talk about, crops and types of crops and so on. Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Very good, Sonali, very good, Pami, very good, Samriddhi, yes. So, if we were to define agriculture, right? Agriculture can be simply defined as the branch of science or the practice of cultivating crops, very important keyword, along with livestock, right? So this is what we understand as agriculture. And in our chapter, that is crop production and management, we will be dealing extensively on understanding about these two things, right? Yes, growing crops on a large scale is agriculture. Agriculture defines vegetation. Well, Amisha, I would like to make a small addition, right? Because when we talk about agriculture, it is the practice of growing it by ourselves, right? Vegetation would more or less refer to the natural, all the plants that are there normally which are present, yes? Very good. Agriculture is a process of growing the same type of crop over a large piece of land. Yes, practice of cultivating crops. Yes, wonderful, wonderful. Now that we've had this basic understanding of what is agriculture, let's understand what we are going to look at in our session today, right? So in our class today specifically, we will be talking about crops, right? We will be looking at the different types of crops that are there. We will be looking at what are the steps that need to be followed for agriculture. And lastly, we will be looking at preparation of soil. right? So these are 4 things that we are going to cover. Now you must be wondering, right, ma'am, then why did you give such an elaborate explanation about agriculture and food and everything? We could have just started off with all of this, right? Now see, one thing I will always tell you. When we talk about crops or food or anything that we look at, it's something that is there in and around us. So if we are able to learn with the examples that are there in our surroundings, learning becomes easy and fun. And honestly, most often some of you might be thinking, no ma'am, crop production is such a boring chapter, agriculture is very simple, right? So I'm sure you must be having those things, which is why we will be looking at these 4 topics today. So Namrata, we will not be covering the whole chapter, but these 4 important concepts which are there. Alright, so far everybody's with me. I want you to give me a quick thumbs up in the chat, and I want you to know that so far whatever we have covered is good to go. Yes, a systematically organized body of knowledge on a particular subject. Okay, that is the definition of science. Wonderful, Chandrakant, wonderful. Yes, all right. Okay, Aradhya, yes, Gungun. Okay, I can see thumbs ups coming my way. Yes, wonderful. So let's start off with the most simple thing, and I would request all of you to write this definition down, or I would request you to have some, pen and notebook with you so that you can write the definition of crops, right? Because we know that agriculture deals with cultivating crops on a large scale. So what exactly is a crop, or how do we define a crop? So crops are nothing but when the same kind of plants are cultivated together on a large scale. So that is how we would define crops. Yes, wonderful Archita, very good Naina, very good. This is how we would define crops. So going back to our field, right, when we saw the field, we saw that when we spoke about crops, this part of the field was highlighted. And if you look at each field individually here, right, in each plot of land, we see that one kind of plant is only being grown, which is why this field has, say, crop 1, this field will have crop 2, this field will have crop 3, and so on. Yes, so this is what we mean by growing the same kind of plants. So focus on this, which is being cultivated or grown at a large scale. Now we see that some common examples of crops, of course, include the fruits that we eat, the vegetables, and some cereals, right? So can you all take a wild guess and tell me, what do you think are cereals, right? I'm sure you would have heard this word. So what do you think are cereals? Yes, very good, Himanshu. Paddy, yes, wonderful. Okay, I can see that plants are the same kind, are cultivated at a large scale. Yes, wonderful. That is how we would define crops. Yes, Kanishk, rice. Wonderful. Yes, Amisha. Yes, Ajay, wheat and rice. Naina saying wheat, rice and maize. Wonderful. Okay, so I can also see some answers wherein we are getting pulses. Okay, so here I would like you to focus on the fact that when we talk about cereals, cereals are nothing but crops for which we will utilize their seeds. And these seeds would be rich in carbohydrates. While on the other hand, pulses are more or less rich in proteins, which is why we will not categorize them as cereals. Which is why wheat, rice, maize and oats are all considered to be some examples of cereal crops. Yes, I can see a lot of rice, maize and wheat in the chat. Very good guys, very good. They're all some examples of cereal crops. Now that we've understood about what is agriculture, we've learned about crops, right? Now in order to grow any plant, right, we see that they require certain things to grow. And do you think that all the plants or all the crops that we require can be grown all over the country? Let's understand this point a little bit in detail. Now let's look at our country. Different parts of the country will have different climates, right? So you can give me some examples. What kind of climate do you most commonly find where you live? So I'm here, and in the place where I live, most of the time it is very cool, right? It's very cool. It's not very, right now, of course, it is summer season, so it's a little hot. But other than that, we see that it is little cool here. So what about in the places where you live? How is the temperature or how is the climate there? Yes, sunny. Yes, sometimes, yes. So where Kanish says it's sunny there. So where Janvi says it is hot and humid. Gargi says it's sunny. So most of you all are saying hot and humid, right? Okay, I can see somebody's asking me what are cash crops. Okay, so can I take this point towards the end of the session where I tell you what are cash crops? So I will tell you this very point because it requires a little bit of explanation. So we will tackle this in the end of the session. So please do bear with me, okay? And give me a thumbs up so that we'll discuss it in the end. Yes, I can see a lot of you are saying it's very hot and humid right now. So you will, oh, Yashasvi lives in a place where there's temperate climate. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. In Gujarat, it is very hot. Okay, Manya. All right, Aradhya says tropical. Some are saying temperate. Wonderful. So yes, I can see a very interesting point which is put by Himanshu, who said that there are different kinds of climate that are there all over India. So different parts of the country have different kinds of climatic conditions. So it is safe for me to say that India has diverse climatic conditions throughout the year. And very broadly, if you see, I can categorize them as monsoon season, where it rains a lot. We have winter season, and we have summer season, right? So these are the three broad seasons that we will find in India. So this is very, very important. Yes, I can see a lot of you are saying it is hot right now. Of course, summers are, of course, very, very hot. Now, based on these seasons, we can actually categorize the crops into three. That is Kharif crops, Rabi crops, and Zaid crops. And this here is very, very important, right? These three types of crops that are there. So first up, let us have a look at what are Kharif crops. Now, Kharif here actually comes from the Arabic word which means autumn. All right? And we see that these are crops which are sown in the rainy season, which means around June to September the seeds will be sown, right? And the crops will be fully grown and we can use them in before the onset of winters or roughly around this autumn time. That's around, October, around that time, right? And some very common examples of Kharif crops include rice, maize, cotton, and groundnut. So this right here is very important, right? So these are the three main points when we talk about Kharif crops, that they are sown in rainy season, they are harvested or they are fully grown just before winter, and some examples, right? So in this case, if you see, these are all about Kharif crops. Ridhima, hi, I am so sorry. I am not ignoring you. Please don't feel that way. I can see your messages. So, hello Ridhima. Yes, Achut, Kharif crops in summer. So again, I would like you to say that it is sown in the rainy season. So this right here is an important point. While on the other hand, when we talk about Rabi crops, right? Rabi again comes from the Arabic word which means winter. And in this case, we see that the crops are sown in the winter season. Very, very important. And they are harvested before the onset of summers around February time. Alright, so roughly I'm giving you an approximate. And some examples of course include wheat, pea, mustard and gram. So this is about Rabi crops. So these are the two main types of crop types that are mentioned of course in the textbook. But I can see that some of you are still telling that Zaid crop is not there, right? But I'm telling you that Zaid crop is just, a term that I am giving. But I am sure that you know that there are some crops which are sown in the summer season and they are harvested just before monsoon. And we call them as summer crops. And Zaid is just a term that we are giving it to it, right? It's nothing big. And we see that cucumber, watermelons, we have pumpkins, bitter gourd, bottle gourd, which are all examples. So even though it is not probably part of the syllabus, it is good to know about something known as Zaid crops because it is also a crop type. Yes, wonderful Aradhya. They are summer season crops and they are grown for a short time. Yes, Zaid crops is important to know. Wonderful Gungun. Yes. Zaid means rainy? No. So we will say that Zaid crops are summer crops. It is completely okay, Gauri. It's no issues. We are talking about different types of crops. So very quickly, right, because I could see there were some comments which were asking me to explain Kharif crop again, right, and you're asking me for some examples as well. So shall we quickly go over all of this once again about the different types of crops that are there? Yes, I will explain this once again. Now, if we were to look at the different types of crops that are there, we have Kharif crops. Now, Kharif again, we sow the seeds, we will sow the seeds at the rainy season. That means around June and July we will sow the seed. And of course the crops need some time to grow. So they will require some amount of time and they will be fully grown and harvested before the onset of winter. And examples are rice, maize, cotton and groundnut. So please write this down. Yes, so these are the 4 examples that you can write about when we discuss Kharif crops. Yes, so once again I'm going to go over it again, right? Kharif means they are sown during the monsoon season or on the onset of monsoon. So far if you are able to follow me, please do let me know, right? Kharif is clear? Alright, moving on, let's talk about Rabi crops, okay? So when we talk about Rabi crops, we see that they are sown in the winter season. Yes? So in the winter season, we see that we will sow the seeds. And then before the onset of the summer season, they will be fully grown so that we can utilize them. And we see that wheat, pea, gram and mustard are all examples of the same. Yes, so here I can see that most of you are able to follow this. And lastly, we have Zaid crops, and we can see that Zaid crops are often known as summer crops, and we see that they are sown in the summer season and they are harvested just before the onset of monsoon season. Yes, so far if you are able to follow what I am saying, please, or what if you have been able to understand the 3 different types of crops, because again on an examination point of view this is important. Why do we call them as Rabi crops? Simply because Rabi comes from the Arabic word which means winter. Okay, alright, I can see that most of you are able to understand this. Again, Rabi, because it comes from the Arabic word which suggests that it is winter. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, so now so far that we have looked at what the 3 types of crops are, here's a quick question time where I have a very easy question for all of you. How many crop seasons are there in India? Can you tell me? Hi Shreya, hello. Yes, what do we mean by Zaid? Again, Zaid refers to the summer crops which are there. Yes. So can you quickly tell me how many crop seasons are there in India? Wonderful, wonderful. I can see 3. Yes, some of you are saying 2. Okay, let's revisit how many seasons were there. We learnt about Rabi, Kharif and Zaid crops. Yes, wonderful. It is 3 crop seasons that are there in India. So again, quickly I am going to write this down because again on an examination front this is important. Yes, onset means just before it starts. Okay, onset. That means it is going to start something. Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, yes, wonderful. Okay then, alright guys, I am so happy with the way you've been responding and I hope that you guys are having fun. And it's important that, you know, when you are learning, it is important that you draw examples from your daily life. And rice, wheat and, you know, maize, all of this is something that you will find in the kitchen as well. So what you can do after this class is, of course, go to the kitchen and try to identify all of these different crops that are there. Now that we have looked at the types of crops, let's have a quick understanding about how these crops are actually grown in the fields, right? So I can see that Priya is saying that, you know, she has a paper. It is okay, Priya. Thank you so much. Yes, very good, Dipti. Very good. Okay then. So now that we've looked at this, let's understand how these crops are actually grown in the fields. Now we know that, you know, we need to sow some seeds and, you know, at the end of the day, the crops will be grown. But what are the steps that are there? And I could see that Manya is telling that there are 7 practices which are incorporated and we call them as agricultural practices. So if I were to quickly define agricultural practices, they are nothing but the activities or the tasks that a farmer would do in order to cultivate the crops. And we have preparation of soil, sowing, addition of nutrients, irrigation, removal of weed, harvesting and storage, which are the 7 steps that are there. But of course, in our class today, we will be looking at the first step and a very simple step, that is preparation of soil. So now very quickly, can you guys all tell me what is soil? Very simple question. What do you think is soil? Yes, yes, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, Anaga, agricultural practices. And I can see some of you are, Gungun, you're listing the different types or the different steps of agricultural practices. Soil is prepared for sowing of seeds for the crop. Wonderful, Priya, wonderful. Mukesh is saying plough. Okay, wonderful. Rocks break down to form soil. Soil is a layer. Very good, Kanishk. Very good, Harshali. Very good, Aradhya. Wonderful. Yes. So I can simply define soil as this dark brown layer which has different components in it. So there will be some rocks, there will be some powdered particles, right? We will also have some organic matter. We will have some living organisms in it. Yes, Sonali, soil is a browny substance. Mixture of humus and sand. Wonderful. Yes, I can see a lot of interesting answers coming in. So very quickly to tell you, humus is nothing but the organic matter that makes the soil very rich in something known as nutrients. And this nutrients is not a new word, right? You know why nutrients are necessary. Yes, yes, wonderful. Okay, mixture of things required for growing of crops. Yes, Praveen, very good. Organic minerals and water. Wonderful, wonderful, very good, guys. So now that we know soil, let's understand what is preparation of soil. So here, as you can see here, we have a farmer, right? And there are some cows and he is, grazing them and asking them to walk. So what is happening here? Yes, ploughing or tilling. Yes, very good. Very good, Anaga. Very good. Yes. All right then, I can see that a lot of you have got this right, that here what is happening is ploughing or tilling, which is nothing but when the soil needs to be turned and loosened up just before sowing the seeds. Now, what do I mean by turned and loosened up, right? What do we mean by that? So let's visualize this, okay? So before I get started, could you please get me to the center and make me big? Yes, okay, I'm pretty big on the screen right now. So let's understand what we mean by turning and loosening. So here, as you can see, I have a beaker with me and there is some soil. And normally, even in the ground, the soil will be tightly packed, all right? And there is a need to loosen this, right? So what do we mean by loosening? Say I have the spoon with me. What they do is they take the bottom layer and they bring it up and they loosen it. So they again bring it to the bottom and they loosen it like this. So effectively what would happen is that now it becomes easy for me to take the spoon and do it. Now you can take a very daily example in your life also. Say there is a jar with sugar in it and it is tightly packed. Now in order to loosen it, you take the bottom layer and bring it to the top. Yes, ground soil on top. Wonderful. That exactly is what we try to do. And yes, Gargi, there will be a summary at the end of it. So this is what we mean by loosening or, making the soil loose, right? And this, of course, is also what we call as ploughing or tilling. Now, what we need to understand is, why do we need to do all this? Why should the farmer sit and make the soil loose? And what is the purpose behind all of this? Yes, and I can see a lot of answers already coming in. Roots will not be able to breathe. Yes, earthworms will loosen the soil. It will help the roots of the plant breathe easily. Wonderful, Anukriti. Wonderful. Yes, Praveen. Yes, Bharadwaj, ground soil will come on top. Yes, Achyut, it will bring the top of the soil and create small pores. So most of you have covered it already. I am so proud of all of you for, being so ahead of everything. So effectively, if you see, preparation of soil or loosening of the soil is necessary so that it will allow the plants to, or the roots of the plants to penetrate deeper. Because as you plough, right, or as you loosen it, the nutrients which are settled at the bottom will come on top and it will be evenly distributed. And along with that, yes, availability of nutrients will increase. The roots of the plants would be able to breathe. It will be able to absorb water. Yes, wonderful, Jayashri, wonderful. So this is exactly why we require to prepare the soil. And along with this, you guys have got it already, that it helps the earthworms and the microbes prepare, or it will help them survive, and it will also add humus, which is nothing but the organic matter that is there. Yes, very good all of you, very good. Friend of farmer farmer. Yes, of course. The earthworm, of course, is known as the farmer's friend, and it helps in enriching the soil. So that is very important to understand, that it will enrich the soil. Oops, there is no E there. Yes, all right. So this is the purpose or the reason as to why we need to prepare the soil. Next question comes as to how are we going to prepare the soil? Let's have a visual here again. Now the farmer is there. There are some bullocks here. And what do you see? What is he using to plough the soil, or what is he using to loosen the soil? Yes, earthworm helps in ploughing and tilling. Friends of farmer, wonderful. Yes, Jaspreet, earthworms are used for vermicompost. Wonderful. Right. Yes, by tilling and ploughing. Wonderful. You guys have all got it. Yes, Naina, plough. Yes. Very good, Anushka. Very good, Sonali. Very good, Ajay. Very good, Gungun. Yes. So exactly that is what it is. It is a plough, or he's using an agricultural tool here, which is plough. Now, what is a plough effectively? It is nothing but a simple tool that we use to till and turn the soil, and along with that, it is something that we would use to remove the weeds. And we usually see that this particular plough will have three parts. It will have a beam-like structure, like a long rod-like structure, which will be usually kept to put on top of the bulls that are there so that they can drag it, right? Or else we see that there will be a plough shaft. Now, whenever you see the term shaft, right, it means that it is a long, elongated structure. Yes, and at the end of it, we have a plowshare, which will have this kind of a structure that makes it easy to sort of, till the soil and loosen it and turn it. So this is the basic structure that is there of the plough. Another instrument that is there, which most of you have already, I could see some answers coming in. Yes, Deepti, it's a long log of wood, right? So we usually use wood to make it. Now another thing or another implement that is there is hoe. Now hoe again is a manually used implement that is there, which will be used to loosen the soil and remove the weeds. And it has of course different parts, but mainly I would want you to focus on the long rod that is there and a bent plate that will help in loosening it. Plough can also be drawn by other animals. Yes. What is a hoe? Just like I told you, hoe is a simple tool that is there, which is used manually, which means this is something that the farmer has to use, and he has to sort of loosen it up. So it's a lot of manual effort that goes into it. Yes, Apeksha, you're saying that you have a doubt, so you can please send in your doubts in the chat. Yes, plough, hoe and cultivator. So wonderful guys, Prachi, Preetika, you're all ahead of me. Of course, whenever there is a manually used table, right, or whenever there's a manually used tool, we see that there will be some disadvantages because it requires a lot of effort from our end, which is why we have a cultivator, right? So cultivator is nothing but a modern device which is paired with a tractor, and it saves labor and time. So we have looked at three agricultural implements. We have looked at cultivator, plough and hoe. So far, whatever we have discussed, is it clear, right? Yes, they are driven by the tractor. Wonderful, Deepti, wonderful. Yes. So now, if you see, when we looked at the structure, right, again on an examination front, understanding the structure is very important. And how can we make this easy? How can we make it easy to sort of recall the structure? Well, I'm sure when you were young, right, you would have, played with chapati dough, right? Yes, Anushka, you're saying that you have a doubt in plough. Can you explain? Yes. Can you just give me 5 minutes? When we are recalling, I will quickly take you through it. We use tractor to increase the efficiency. Yes, very good, Priya. They are faster. Wonderful. I'm sure that we would have all played with chapati dough, and we would have, made small structures. So there's a very simple way of doing it. So what I did a little earlier was to use clay to make these structures. So here, as you can see, I've made a small clay modeling of a plough, right? It has the beam, right, which is used to put it on, the structure, on the bullocks that are there. We see that we have this shaft, which is a long rod-like structure, and then we have the plowshare here. And as you can see, it makes it very, very easy to remember because you are making it. So these are some ways in which you can remember these structures. Similarly, if you see, I have the hoe made here. Can you see that? I will put it in front so that it's clear. So I made another hoe-like tool, which makes it easy to remember. So these are all some ways in which you can learn things better by visualizing it. And in case if these visuals are not clear for you, make them, because this will also help you, sort of understand it better. So Priya, these are just clay modelings that I did of, some of the tools that we just learned about. Yes, long-handed tools such as hoes, rakes and shovels can also be used. So very quickly, I have one question for you. Which tool saves time and labor in soil preparation? Plough, hoe, cultivator, or both 1 and 2? Can you very quickly let me know? So in the meanwhile, I will tell you about the plough, because I saw that a lot of you wanted to know about it. Plough has a long shaft-like structure, right? And it has a beam here and it has a plowshare. And this helps in tilling and loosening the soil. Yes, very good guys, very good. It is the cultivator that is there. So this helps in saving time and labor, because we see that the cultivator helps in taking, or the tractor, or we see that there will be a machine attached that will help in it. Yes, wonderful guys, wonderful. So with this we have covered preparation of soil. So very quickly to recap, we started our session with understanding about agriculture and crops. We know that agriculture is the branch of science that deals with cultivating crops and livestock at a large scale. We have crops which are nothing but the same kind of plants which are cultivated on a large scale. Then of course we have 3 kinds of crops which are there, which has Kharif, Rabi and Zaid crops. Then of course we learnt about the 7 steps that are involved in agricultural practices, of which we learnt about soil preparation, and we learnt about why soil preparation was necessary. And then we also learnt about the agricultural tools that are implemented for soil preparation. So guys, this brings us to the end of today's session, and I know that today's session went on a little long, and there was one question which was still pending from my end, which was, what are cash crops? So cash crops are nothing but those crops which bring in a lot of revenue into the country, right? Which is why we call them as cash crops. And an example I can simply give you would be cotton. Okay, so these are some examples. So far, of course, we looked at some broad topics, right? But so far, whatever we have covered, has it been easy for you? Have you started liking crop production a little more? Yes. Okay, all right. So again, I can see that some of you are asking me what is hoe. Very quickly, hoe is a tool that is used to loosen the soil. Yes. So guys, with this, it brings us to the end of today's session. And I hope you had a lot of fun in today's class, because I surely did. Now, before we wind up, I want you to do one thing. Go to your kitchen, figure out some of the crops or some of the things that are there in the kitchen, and try to identify them as Kharif or Rabi crops. And in the comment section, I want you to answer. And before we start next week's class, I will be calling out the top comments. So I hope you had a lot of fun, because I surely did. Hoping to see you very soon again. Bye-bye and have a nice